wonderful, first class. But it will bring you to the point of realizing, or, you know, you'll just be emptied out because all the motivation will not work after some time, because devotion will bring us to that point that, you know, we'll be empty. Oh, where's the bliss? What happened to the bliss? I don't understand. What's going on? I got to chant my rounds better. I got to do this better. But that's not working either. What am I supposed to do? I want the bliss. I want this. No, but Srila Sridhar Maharaj told us, look deeper. Go deep and try to understand that devotional service has to do with, like, you know, deeply surrendering, killing the false ego. You know, it's not just a happy thing, you know, like I was saying, strawberry fields forever. You just woo, la, 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 la. We, you know, we like all the gurus. We love everything. Everything is blissful. We're reading this and reading that, and so it's so blissful. Yeah. That's all, Jai Gurudev. Yeah. That's all, like, still personally motivated, you know, BS. It's just not the real thing. The real thing is given by Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and once we get that vision given by Srila Sridhar Maharaj, you see it all over Srila Prabhupada's books. But without the vision of understanding the secondary position, the clearing position that Srila Prabhupada talks about, is intended to bring about a destruction of the false self. And the feeling of emptiness that we get after some time in devotional service is what is supposed to happen. We're supposed to feel empty. We're supposed to feel like, you know, I want to, you know, I need to find something that's going to, you know, fulfill me. You know, and in a deeper sense, we find from our gurus and from the, you know, the theological depth given by them, we find that that state of emptiness really reflects, you know, we're not there yet, but it reflects what is the real position of the jiva. You know, nothing. Except, you know, what we have is the opportunity to serve. And if Krishna wants to give it to us, or if by the grace of Srimati Radharani and her servants, all the way down to our guru, if they give us service, then we can serve Krishna. Otherwise, you know, it's not possible. And the only way we can get service in that line of Srimati Radharani is to, you know, give up personal motivation. Okay. Anyway, we're talking about the demigods and the motivation of serving the demigods to get return. So again, Srila Sridhar Maharaj says, the cause of such stunted intelligence, evil propensities, and foolishness, the power of illusion, Maya. Then there's a statement from Tatraiva, which means, I think, the previous stuff, which is from the Bhagavad Gita. Na mam duskritino mudha prapadyante naradhanaha mayaya parata jnana asuram bhavam asritaha. That's the Gita. I don't know the exact shloka. But being merged in Maya, foolish and fallen men dedicated to evil deeds resort to the demoniac mentality and do not surrender unto me. Asuram bhavam asrita. They are bhavam, situated in this asura mentality and unable to surrender, fixed in illusion. Maya ya parita jnana, that kind of illusory intelligence that is dedicated to you know, what is evil deeds. I mean, you know, we have a clear conception of evil, sinful, stuff like that. It's everything in the material world. It's everything that doesn't serve Krishna. So, you know, we're not like, you know, many Christians or anybody in faith who is simply focused on renunciation or withdrawal from the material world. We're not like, we don't say, you're a sinful, evil person, you're going to go to hell. We don't say that. We say, you know, this is illusion. You're caught up in the illusion. You're driven by something that's false. It's not you. The real you is a servant. So leave the dream behind. You know, everybody's caught in a dream. You know, it's all sinful. It's all evil. It's not that, you know, maybe one is a little more entangled than another, but proportionately, in relation to the depth of entanglement, and conversely, the depth of freedom that is possible, you know, through Krishna consciousness, our entanglements are not so much different. You know, in the beginning we think, oh, we're like, you know, engaged in Krishna consciousness and surrendered souls. We're in the temple 24 hours a day, and all these other people are in Maya. But, you know, after a while, when you begin to, you know, dig in and try to, you know, understand and consciously begin the project to, like, deconstruct the false ego, then you realize, you know, I'm stuck in it too. Everybody's stuck in it. So we relate to people not as, oh, you're fallen, I'm not fallen, we have something to help you become not fallen, you know, or we're going to save you from hell, or some kind of, you know, crap like that. We're going to present to them something that's, that is natural. Something that's wonderful, something that will overpower their, you know, temporary illusion. You know, think like that. These people are not at fault. Well, I mean, ultimately, of course they are. But right now, they're entangled in the illusory energy. And the real self, everybody's real self, deep down, wants freedom, desires the ecstasy of service. You know, everybody wants it. And everybody, you know, in this world can't see it. And that's including us too. We just have come in contact with, you know, gurus who can see. But we have the capacity now, because those gurus have accepted our service, we have the capacity to be able to give that service to others. So, like, it's our duty to reach to others and to give them the possibility of, you know, joining Krishna consciousness, even within their, you know, the illusion that they're entangled with. We don't care about that. All we care about is if they get up in the morning and chant Hare Krishna once, it's going to have effect. What to speak of if they do it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes? It's going to break down their ego, and eventually they're going to chant more and more and more, and they're going to come to the stage where they think, wow, you know, I want to get out of this illusion. I want to do something about it. You know, let me go to the temple more. Let me bow down, and instead of just bowing down like reflexively, let me bow down and really pray deeply. You know, this kind of program through which we can reach to people, is, you know, exactly where they are if we can do it. That's like the blessing given by Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and a you know, particular potency of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. And actually, it's a fact. You know, the only one really, it seems, amongst you know, the God brothers, at least like initially, Srila Sridhar Maharaj knew what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was talking about. And all his godbrothers asked him, what did he say? What did he really mean? And Srila Sridhar Maharaj knew. And he said it, and he repeated it. So now we've got that, you know, from Srila Sridhar Maharaj by the grace of Srila Prabhupada. You know, things have been opened up by him. Now we understand why Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the staunch, powerful, like lightning guru, was ready to offer meat to bring people within contact of Krishna consciousness. You know, and when Srila Sridhar Maharaj questioned it, he said, I have already resolved that hundreds of lifetimes ago. You know, so what are we supposed to do in relation to that, in relation to our understanding of Krishna consciousness? You know, that means we're supposed to reach to people and, you know, make them feel like, oh yeah, this is something that I can do. Not that it's something that's, you know, out of reach. Just, you know, presenting the necessity of, like, full surrender. That's you know, amongst the devotees, that's a fantastic method of preaching. But amongst new people, you know, we have to understand where they're at, where they're coming from, and reach into that consciousness and give them the opportunity, you know, regardless of what they're into, to begin to chant Hare Krishna and begin to, you know, understand about the principle of you know, full surrender given by Srila Rupa Goswami, which I can't remember the sloka, but anyway. So, so we've read the Sanskrit. It's from the Gita, number 9. We'll do number 10. And then move on to Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, Srila Guru Maharaj's introduction and summary of number 10, words of nectar from the Supreme Lord, Sri Sri Bhagavad Vachanamritam, contained in chapter 9 of the life nectar of the surrendered souls, Sri Sri Prapana Jivanamritam. Okay. So, Srila Guru Maharaj tells us, only the virtuous soul who rejects both mundane happiness and unhappiness is qualified to worship Lord Krishna. There he is, you know. Go beyond the duality of the mind. Wow, I'd really like to do this. Oh, that's really a bummer. I don't want to do that. You know, that's completely the source of our entanglement. And here, bam, Srila Sridhar Maharaj is hitting at it directly. You know, reject mundane happiness. Reject the connection with mundane unhappiness. We have no connection with either one of them. But we have to realize that. Right now we're in a dream. And we think we're connected to it. And because we think like that, you know, we get a rush of enjoyment that, you know, ends. And then we get a mess up of unhappiness that keeps coming back for some reason. In spite of, you know, all the stuff that I try to do to end it, and all the rushes and ecstatic feelings that I get for a few minutes. Srila Prabhupada clearly indicated, clearly speaks of, but can't be seen without the revelation of understanding our position as hopeless and helpless, fully dependent on the mercy of our Guru. And if someone remembers that, and he's, you know, strictly a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, we honor that, we worship that. But if someone, like, criticizes Srila Sridhar Maharaj because they're only Prabhupada's disciple, that we can't, you know, we say, oh, you're unfortunate. Don't you understand that Srila Prabhupada sent us to Srila Sridhar Maharaj? Don't you understand that Srila Maharaj is, you know, Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya. He's opening our eyes that are stuck in illusion and helping us see what Srila Prabhupada really said. You know, the depth of understanding of Srila Guru Maharaj was worshipped by Srila Prabhupada. We know that. He said it so many times. And yet, you know, one little letter where Prabhupada talks about one particular thing that, you know, may have been an error. That's it. Only one thing about Srila Sridhar Maharaj that Prabhupada had to, you know, made some criticism, which is, you know, he has a right to because he's a God brother. That also we have to understand. We're God brothers with, you know, some are God brothers with the acharyas. And we have a different relationship with the acharyas. They're God brothers. Privately we talk. Openly, yes, we worship them. And that's right, that's proper. But privately, on the other side, Srila Guru Maharaj tells us clearly in Sri Guru and His Grace, there's a relative exchange that goes on. In terms of, you know, how we're preaching, what is our approach, what we're doing, how we're presenting ourselves, all these, you know, different things. The God brothers have a right to speak to the acharyas as, you know, as friends and equals, and say, well, why don't you do like this? And then he may say, well, because it's like this. I know these shlokas. I know why I'm supposed to act. And then, you know, we can reply, well, you know, according to this action or presentation by our gurus, that may not be proper. Think about it. And then, you know, the Acharya Godbrother, who's, you know, a soul who wants to grow in Krishna consciousness also, he thinks about it. And, you know, we grow together. Maybe I accept what he has said. And that becomes the synthesis of the two different ideas about how to practice Krishna consciousness. And you really can't say one is right and the other one's wrong. They're both involved in the development of Krishna consciousness. Both have equal and important status. You know, this is why Srila Govinda Maharaj encouraged, you know, people to, like, run into each other, have differences, because through that we grow. You know, we're not Mayavadis. You know, like so many of the, even my God brothers and people who are trying to practice Krishna consciousness, they're becoming influenced by Mayavadis, which ultimately means, you know, in dealing with Krishna consciousness, they ultimately think Krishna is, you know, a very great high soul. He may be the highest of all the, you know, souls that are, you know, in the material world, but he descended also from Brahman. So he's like an ultimate material personality. You know, in a final sense, that's what the conclusion of impersonalism is. So this kind of, you know, oh, it's all one, it's all beautiful, we all, you know, we accept all gurus without any differentiation or discrimination or understanding of the different degrees of proper presentation. You know, that's Mayavadi stuff. And we don't have anything to do with that, based on the strong position of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the strong, heavy position of Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, the, you know, vehement position of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Maharaj, you know, the protector of Bhakti Rakak. He was fierce in his, you know, attack on Maya. And what is Maya? Mayavadi philosophy. That's like the final stage of illusion. They're trying to become spiritual in an external way. They're trying to become spiritual, thinking, you know, ultimately they're the same as Krishna. And what kind of offense is that? So this Gita shloka says, those virtuous persons whose sins have been destroyed are liberated from illusory happiness and unhappiness, and they worship me with firm resolve. You know, this is the Krishna speaking in the Bhagavad Gita. Like, this is the real thing. This is what Krishna is saying. You know, he's not saying, you'll get this, you'll get that if you come to me. People may read that and they may be encouraged to begin devotional service. But, you know, on a deeper level, you know, and it's not the ultimate level. There's more and more and more, and it's infinite, the degree in which we need to surrender. But the Bhagavad Gita, you know, allows us to break through into a deeper understanding of, you know, what kind of surrender we need to do beyond just accepting that we have to chant 16 rounds a day, we have to follow these principles, we have to do this, we have to do that. You know, that's good, no doubt. And, you know, even in our secondary stage, we need to do that. But, if, you know, according to Srila Maharaj, according to Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the primary necessity is, you know, direct seva for Sri Guru, direct action, because that's the plane on which we are. We absorb ourselves for, you know, a few hours a day in hearing and chanting, but the rest of the time we try to absorb ourselves in activities which, through seva, through service, connect with the direct instruction of our Guru. Through, you know, acting according to our particular nature and level of consciousness. We're able to do that by the grace of our gurus. And we should understand that that type of activity is, you know, an absolute necessity, as is hearing, as is chanting. But, you know, both things must be there. And primarily, the function of, you know, feeling great necessity for service and engaging oneself, you know, according to one's nature. Prabhupada said dovetailing. That's like the prime, seva is the prime necessity. And with, you know, God brothers and God sisters, there's a structure, an organization through which we can cultivate seva. So that's the blessing. So on one level, you know, we look at, say, ISKCON or Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math, perhaps some people look at it like that it's just an external thing. And on one level, the structural organization is an external thing. But on another level, the structural organization facilitates development in Krishna consciousness. And it must be seen like that the primary goal is not to refine the structural organization, but the primary goal is to you know, encourage the development of Krishna consciousness and make sure the two go hand in hand, and we don't lose sight through the structural necessities of you know, practically functioning in this world. We don't lose sight of the real thing. This is the blessing of Srila Maharaj. This is the blessing of a small organization where we live together as a family, just like we did in the early days with Srila Prabhupada. It was, you know, like that, and it is like that in Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math. We're all together, brothers and sisters, trying to serve, and we honor each other, and we love each other, and we have feelings and, you know, deep regard for our God brothers and God sisters. You know, we embrace them. If we can't do it physically, we do it in our mind. Okay. Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Sri Prabhupada Jivanamrita Ki Jai. Okay. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Nirmala Charja Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Acharya Brinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari Haribol. So, Adi Lila, chapter 8, and now Mahaprabhu is speaking about the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or actually rather it's Kaviraj Goswami now speaking about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the personality of Godhead and the means through which that personality can be approached, which is the holy name, which, in actuality, it's, we can kind of understand it and accept it, but in actuality, the holy name is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the, avatar. He was here in, perceivable form, relating with people, and just his touch transformed people. We know that. Just his voice, poof, immediately they're transformed. But he's left the mantra, and he's left our gurus, and the whole thing has become a reciprocal process through which we attempt to surrender, and based on that, the sincerity and intensity of that attempt, the Lord reciprocates. Through the agency of our guru. We can never forget the only way, one way or the other, going towards the Lord or coming back from the Lord, it's all our guru. It's not us dealing with the Lord. It doesn't work like that. We have no connection. This is the line of Srimati Radharani we were talking about yesterday. We have connection with the Lord through the service of Srimati Radharani and the service of Lalita Devi and Vishaka Devi and the 8 gopis and the 108 gopis and the 1,008 gopis. We serve them. Actually, we serve the servants of them, if we're lucky. So this is like Krishna consciousness. Everything comes from Guru. We have to remember that, and we have to realize that and appreciate that. Like, the devotee, Mirabai, who in many ways, appears, she gave her life directly to Krishna. And I don't know, maybe she was able to, by her own dedication and devotion, able to, get past, or she was allowed, perhaps, to get past the necessity of Sri Guru. But it seems that our gurus are telling us that, it wasn't like that. She didn't do that. She didn't accept Rupa Goswami. She was there at that time. She didn't take him as a guru and take the approach to Krishna through the line of Srimati Radharani as the real necessity. She approached Krishna directly. So, that may be like some kind of, Vaikuntha type thing, maybe. Or maybe it's just, a part of the Mayavadi illusion. Krishna is ultimately, the ultimate personality in this world, the supreme lover and the supreme beloved, and that whole idea that we have is all based on Srimati Radharani and her nature of inconceivable, absolute, complete service. And that's how we approach. The only way we go is by serving Sri Guru, who is lost in service to his Guru, and so on and so on. And what does our Guru want of us? What did Srila Prabhupada want of us? What did Srila Guru Maharaj want of us? What did Srila Govinda Maharaj want of us? What do our godbrother Acharyas want to help us do? That is to actually become Krishna conscious. That's the real thing. It's not the organization. It's not, the stuff that we do. Whatever we do, whatever organization is there, may be fine, may be helpful. But the real thing is, what do you do to, make progress to become Krishna conscious? That's like the real thing. And that's what's given by our gurus. But a lot of times we just don't see it. You know, we think, oh, the organization is so important, or this or that. But like Govinda Maharaj, so Srila Govinda Maharaj so clearly told us, by his own like brilliant revelation and vision, when Prabhupada said, you know, ISKCON is my heart. Everybody thinks, oh, that means Prabhupada's heart is, you know, there in the structure, it's in the buildings, it's in the committees, it's in all of us. You know, but that's just like actually, you know, maybe true based on some ultimate degree of surrender, or maybe not based on some, you know, getting caught up in the structure and forgetting the purpose. But the real purpose of all of our gurus is to help us become Krishna conscious. And that's really our absolute necessary service. How do you do that? That is understood either directly from Sri Guru, by his instruction, or by remembering his instruction and praying and you know, trying to apply that. Always with errors, but we try. Everything is covered with error, Krishna says in the Gita. We can't escape that. So we're not trying to make like a perfect organizational structure, or you know, trying to do everything perfectly in our sadhana, and you know, we try to serve like as a surrendered soul and do things perfectly with the motive of you know, full surrender and full giving. That's a means through which that is expressed. It's not an end in itself. Of course, bhakti is an end if you're surrendered. And along the way, we experience, through bhakti, we experience the end. But the idea is not that it's a mechanical formula that poof produces Krishna consciousness. It's a process through which consciousness is developed. You know, up to the point of like the full surrender of, you know, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Sharanagati. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in all of his words. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada in all of his actions, everything. And Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami, you know, on one level, sitting alone in his room in Krishna consciousness, but, you know, developing a deep internal surrender to his guru that, you know, all of his godbrothers saw was completely unmatched. Totally unmatched surrender. This is Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And Srila Prabhupada saw that and worshipped that. We have that, you know, I just got that picture of Srila Prabhupada just placed a garland on the head of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And he's bowing before Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj is reaching out to Srila Prabhupada's feet. Because he, you know, felt, you know, Srila Prabhupada was so surrendered to my guru that Nityananda helped him serve my guru. How much indebtedness, you know, that's like a bad word, but it's something that indicates how much feeling was there between Srila Sridhar Maharaj in terms of, you know, his love for Srila Prabhupada because of his service and surrender to their most beloved guru, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. That kind of love was there between the both of them. And it's clear, there's no doubt about it. And, you know, as we progress and try to surrender to them, you know, even directly to Srila Prabhupada. I have friends who are, you know, fully dedicated to Srila Prabhupada, who every day think of Prabhupada, come up with quotes that are relevant, praise them on Facebook. But they see in Srila Sridhar Maharaj reality. They honor Srila Sridhar Maharaj. They honor his books, honor his revelation. But they're completely focused on Srila Prabhupada. And that's, you know, that's okay. That's proper. But for those of us who have, you know, had the fortune, based on maybe our misfortune in contact with, the organizational structure, oh, I forgot to get to that point. Anyway, based on that, we're in contact with Srila Sridhar Maharaj directly. And now, by his blessing, Srila Govinda Maharaj, by his blessing, Srila Acharya Maharaj, you know, Srila Goswami Maharaj, Srila Janardhan Maharaj, Srila Ashram Maharaj, Srila Avadut Maharaj, Srila Trivikram Maharaj, all these people we're connected with by the higher grace. And what is the essence of it? That's what Srila Prabhupada said. And that's Srila Govinda Maharaj's clear revelation. ISKCON is my heart. It means just that. Prabhupada's heart, that's the real ISKCON. Not the buildings, not the structure. To the degree to which Prabhupada's heart is manifest in those buildings, in that structure, in those devotees, that's his heart. But it's not like automatically like that. That's like really, you know, to be honest, it's a Kanishta understanding. Only my temple, only my guru, only this, only that. You know, the Sahajas say, you know, something like that. But they think, oh, you have to accept everybody. You know, that's the real, you know, feeling of heart surrender. But actually it's not. We clearly get that from our gurus. And by their perception, we understand, you know, what is offender, what is sahaja, and we pray and try to follow in that way. And be respectful, you know, from a distance. Even someone within that may be sincere. And, you know, we understand eventually it's going to dawn on them that they're going in the wrong direction by their sincerity. So we just have to be around trying to do the real thing so that people will be drawn to that. Okay, I'm talking too much. Okay, so we'll read the, which one? Okay, great. This is appropriate. Okay, we just read about the awakening of transcendental love and the manifestations of symptoms on the body. Now, Kaviraj, this is Kaviraj Goswami, I believe. Simply chanting. Maybe it's Mahaprabhu. Let me see here. No, it's Kaviraj Goswami is speaking, and then when Mahaprabhu speaks, it's in quotations. I think that's right. So this is Kaviraj Goswami speaking. As a result of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one makes such great advancement in spiritual life that simultaneously his material existence terminates and he receives love of Godhead. So this is the order, this is the process. Chanting Hare Krishna, destruction of the material existence. It's not like poof, it's gone. But it's, you know, like chant Hare Krishna and break down the mountain of ego and work on it and pray to your guru and know that your guru is going to blast a tunnel. Like Srila Govinda Maharaj told us, Prabhupada blasted a huge tunnel in the mountain of ego. And Srila Govinda Maharaj got to go in and start from where Srila Prabhupada left off, blasting more of the tunnel. Actually, Srila Sridhar Maharaj also was there after Srila Prabhupada, blasting more of a tunnel that everybody can access. You know, it's not sectarian. You know, we're following Srila Sridhar Maharaj, we're following Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat as fully as we can. That's our blessing. But those who are not directly connected, who are staying, you know, within ISKCON, within the service of Srila Prabhupada, can honor and respect Srila Sridhar Maharaj and grow from reading his books. You know, Prabhupada clearly said, take help from Srila Sridhar Maharaj, understanding the philosophy. You know, and you know, what does it mean by philosophy? It means how to practice Krishna consciousness. That's what our real philosophy is. We have theology and all these things presented, but you know, our philosophy really is what to do to serve. Okay, so then he continues. The holy name of Krishna is so powerful that by chanting even one name, one very easily achieves these transcendental riches. Of course, there's always two ways to look at it. Chanting one name, he's on the path. It's developed. Something is there in his heart that has to do with Krishna. So that one chanting of the name is going to lead to a second, which will lead to a third and fourth, and on it will go. It may take some time, but time is very relative within this world. It may take lifetimes. But, you know, we understand from Mahaprabhu and from particularly Mukunda, Sripad, the great devotee Mukunda, Srila, whatever his title is, Mukunda, who said, was so dancing because Mahaprabhu would see him in 1,000,000 years. He didn't care at the time because, you know, one breath of Vishnu. So we think time is such a big deal, but it's really not. We have to see things in terms of, you know, what is our development of Krishna consciousness? And if somebody's chanting Hare Krishna once, we actually honor that. And we reach into that person's consciousness to help him chant a second time. That's like absolutely necessary. If we just cite philosophy, that's good. It may stimulate their intelligence to come to conclusions. You know, that's also necessary. And through doing that citation of, you know, the powerful shlokas and the words of our gurus, it does penetrate to the heart. It is potent, no doubt. But also, if we, you know, understand their particular consciousness and relate to that consciousness based on their sincerity that's there to grow in understanding, you know, spiritual things. And we help them take one step from chanting once to twice to 3 times to 100 times. Okay, one more. This is text 29 and 30, Adi Leela, chapter 8. Mahaprabhu as Krishna and the results of, you know, Krishna himself coming in the form of the holy name. Translation: if one chants the exalted holy name of the Lord again and again, and yet his love for the Supreme Lord does not develop, and tears do not appear in his eyes, it is evident that because of his offenses in chanting, the seed of the holy name of Krishna does not sprout. So we know the 10 offenses. We know that unconsciously and consciously sometimes we are violating those, you know, we're making those offenses. And because of that, Krishna consciousness is not coming to us perfectly. So like Madhusudan Maharaj stresses so much, we have to know those offenses, which right now I can't cite, but, you know, I do my best to try to follow, you know, understanding from hearing those offenses just how far away I am. But nonetheless, we try for that. We know that, you know, Krishna consciousness is not happening in us. You know, it may be a little bit, and we all do feel it a bit. Like Govinda Maharaj, Srila Govinda Maharaj told us, you must feel that you're growing, that you're developing. You must feel something. It's not that there's nothing there. On one side, we feel nothing. You know, on another side, achintya beda beda tattva. On another side, we feel, wow, I'm growing, I'm developing, I'm feeling something about Krishna consciousness. And that makes it real. So when somebody hears about Krishna consciousness and their heart gets touched, it becomes real for them. And they think, oh, I'm going to try this chanting. Anyway, so we have the Bangla. I didn't do it for the last shloka, I'll do that. Anyase bhava kshaya krishnara sevana e krishna namera pale pai eta dana. So easily achieved, this wealth, this dana, through Krishna Namara, taking the names of the holy name, and Krishnara Sevana, service to Krishna, Bhavakshaya, it stops repeated birth and death. Anayase, without hard labor. Then, Hena Krishna Nama Yadi Loya Bahu Bara. Tabu Yadi Prema Nahe Nahe Ashrudhara. Tobe Jani Aparada Tahite Prachara. Krishna Nama Bija Tahe Na Kordi Ankara. Again, okay. If one does not properly chant Krishna Nama Bijatahe Na Karde Ankara. Ankara sprout. Na, it doesn't. If, those activities, Tahe, then the Krishna Nama Bija doesn't properly sprout. So we're all mixed devotees, unfortunately. And this is described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that, as mixed devotees, we are making progress, and the illusion is falling away. But because we're not, purely surrendered, it's falling away in a gradual way. And within the department of, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila Acharya Maharaj, the Acharya Brinda, within their what was I going to say? Within their department, there's many devotees who are trying to surrender, and all the devotees are surrendering in different degrees. And Srila Govinda Maharaj told us again and again, I can see, but you cannot see. So we respect and love everybody, because everybody's trying. And one may be seen, clearly to have made great progress, no doubt. And another may be seen, to be in so much difficulty. But both are trying in Krishna consciousness. And we don't know what particular position they're in, because we know difficulty is there until we fully surrender. So we respect and love everyone. That's the real, beauty of, particularly Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math. And of course, that's exactly what Srila Prabhupada gave, and exactly what we all felt in the beginning. I don't know what it is now, but to a large extent, I believe, from what I've seen, it's not there. But in certain temples, in certain places where there are devotees who, are really carrying that spirit, there's a family atmosphere. And people feel together, and they're trying to progress in Krishna consciousness sincerely under the direction of Srila Prabhupada. And we honor that, like Srila Govinda Maharaj said again and again. We may see the problems of getting too caught up in the rules and regulations. That may be a problem there in some places, but not necessarily everywhere. And everywhere there's different degrees. Unfortunately, the emphasis is on that. Just chant Hare Krishna, chant 16 rounds, and you'll become a pure devotee and go back to Godhead in this life. Well, Prabhupada said it, and it is true. But there's a lot more that happens when you chant 16 rounds a day than just poof, you go back to Godhead. It's like you get to see what a mess you've got yourself into. And then you have to try to surrender and be shown, how to get out of it. So, therefore, one should carefully avoid the offenses which have already been described in connection with verse 24. They were outlined there by, I think, Mahaprabhu himself. So everybody, take a look at the 10 offenses you know, every day have a look at them and think about how, you know, how you could improve in your proper chanting. And, you know, gradually it will work. You know, because this is not a mechanical method. We're being pulled out of the ocean of illusion by our gurus. And all we have to do is hold on. You know, just hold on by seva. Hold on by, you know, following their instructions as far as, you know, chanting and serving the deity and all these things that go along with our direct seva. And it will happen. But, you know, we do have to make the effort. We do have to hold on. But there's no way we can get through the mountain unless our guru blasts a tunnel. There's no way. But still we have to, you know, be right there with him as far as we can, helping to, like, you know, work with him as far as what is necessary for, you know, presenting Krishna consciousness, you know, on a scale of reality that, you know, keeps the essence of the teaching intact, but at the same time presents the teachings in such a way so that they're accessible to people. That combination is not easy, and we're all constantly working on it. But you know, I think, by my prayers to our gurus, that everybody has to work on that understanding of, you know, keeping the reality of Krishna consciousness, but simultaneously allowing people to, you know, relate to it and begin to feel it and enter into it. And because by faith we know it will work. You know, just chant Hare Krishna 5 minutes in the morning after talking with them in a sincere way. They begin to chant and it will work. It may not work in this lifetime, but something's going to happen. You know, we know that. That's our faith. So that's what we try to do. And, you know, that's why we go out and preach, we go out and chant the holy names, and I try to support that in spite of my lameness. Okay, so we'll end here. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhakti Rakhak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswaramat Acharya Brinda ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswaramat Vaishnava Brinda ki jai, and Visva Vaishnava Brinda ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Gopala Govinda Ram Srimad Sudana Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohana Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunatha Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha Etai Gosai Kodi Charana Vandana Jaha Hoite Vignanash Abhishta Purana Ichai Gosai Jar Muni Taradasa Tamshavara Pada Renu Mora Panchagrasa Ichai Gosai Jar Muni Taradasa Tamshavara Pada Renu Mora Panchagrasa Tonjara Charana Sevi Bhakta Sane Basa Janame Janame Mora E Abhilasa Ichai Gosai Nitai Gosai Jarbhate Koilabas Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Kodi Nitya Lila Prasad. Sorry. Anandai Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majayaman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Kori Asha Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Kori Asha Hari Nam Sankirtan Kohe Narottama Dasa Hari Nam Sankirtan Kohe Narottama Dasa Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gaur Hari Bo Hari Bo Gaura Hari Bo Nitai Gaur Hari Bo Gaura Hari Bo Nitai Gaur Hari Bo Nitai Gaur Hari Bo Jai Saparikara Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Sundar Radha Giridhari Ju Ki Jai Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Vishnupad Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Acharya Brindi Ki Jai Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Visva Varenya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Brinda Ki Jai Grantha Raja Srimad Bhagavatam Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswara Mata Ki Jai London Sri Chaitanya Saraswara Mata Ki Jai Visa Bhyapi Todiya Shaka Mata Ki Jai What else? Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mata Vaishnava Brinda Ki Jai Samaveta Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Harinama Sankirtan Ki Jai Isai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo Gurudev